The cake knife trembled in my hand, its serrated edge glinting under the dim kitchen light as I sliced into the store-bought sponge I'd bought myself. Chocolate crumbs scattered like ashes across the scarred wooden table, the only sound the faint tick of the wall clock mocking me. Midnight, and another birthday swallowed by silence. Across the hall, laughter erupted from the ballroom, where fairy lights twinkled like cruel stars, and the scent of champagne and roasted lamb wafted through the cracked door. My father's voice boomed, toasting my sister Elena's 25th triumph, while I, his firstborn at 30, sat alone with a candle I'd lit and blown out myself. Rage boiled in my chest, hot and acidic, searing away the last shreds of denial. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was erasure. Every year it had been the same. As children, Elena's birthdays were spectacles. Rented ponies prancing on manicured lawns, magicians pulling silk scarves from hats, piles of gifts wrapped in gold foil that crinkled under her eager fingers. I'd watch from the upstairs window, my own day passing with a mumbled happy birthday, over breakfast cereal if that. "He's busy with work," Mom would say before she left us, her voice thin as the excuses. But Dad wasn't busy. He was selective. Elena was the golden child, the one who mirrored his charm, his ambition. I was the shadow, the quiet one who fixed the leaks in the old estate house, managed the accounts he ignored, and swallowed the humiliation like bitter medicine. Tonight, as the bass from the DJ's speakers thrummed through the floorboards, vibrating my untouched plate, something snapped. Heartbreak twisted into resentment, a venomous coil in my gut. Why her? Why always her? I pictured her out there in her shimmering gown, surrounded by sycophants Dad had invited, business partners, socialites, all clinking glasses to her fabricated perfection. My mind raced with fantasies, storming in, appending the cake table, screaming the truth. But no, that was too crude, too fleeting. Doubt crept in. What if I was overreacting? What if this was just how families worked, uneven and unfair? Guilt nipped at me. Dad had provided, after all. The house, the education. But obsession won out, cold and calculating. This time I'd make him remember. I slipped upstairs to my room, the carpet muffling my steps like a conspirator. The air was stale, heavy with dust from forgotten bookshelves. My laptop screen glowed blue in the dark, illuminating the files I'd unearthed weeks ago. Dad's hidden accounts, the ones siphoning funds from the family business to Elena's ventures. She'd been skimming with his blessing, while I slaved to keep us afloat. Moral conflict gnawed at me. Was exposing them revenge or justice? Fear whispered failure, but resolve hardened like ice. I'd plant the evidence tonight, during the party's chaos. Let the guests whisper, let the truth fester. As I copied the files to a thumb drive, my hand steady despite the pounding heart, I heard Elena's giggle float up the stairs. Subtle hints of my plan flickered, a misplaced document here, an anonymous email there. The tension built slowly, like a storm gathering on the horizon. Downstairs, the party swelled. I dressed in black, blending into the shadows, and descended. The ballroom doors loomed, brass handles cold against my palm. Pushing them open, I entered the fray, invisible amid the swirl of silk dresses and tuxedos. Dad stood at the center, arm around Elena, his laugh booming like thunder. Our eyes met briefly. His flickered with vague recognition, then dismissal. Humiliation burned, fueling the fire. I moved through the crowd, a ghost with a purpose, slipping the drive into a caterer's pocket with instructions whispered like poison. The music pulsed, masking my retreat. Back in the kitchen, I waited, breath shallow, for the unraveling to begin. The first crack came an hour later, subtle as a whisper in the din. A murmur rippled through the guests, someone's phone buzzing with an alert, then another's. I lingered in the doorway, heart hammering against my ribs, the metallic taste of anticipation on my tongue. Elena's face, flushed from wine and adulation, paled as she glanced at her screen. "Dad," she hissed, pulling him aside, her voice a sharp blade cutting through the jazz melody. "What is this? Leaked financials, our accounts." He froze, his broad shoulders tensing under the tailored suit, the scent of his cologne, sandalwood and power, now cloying in the heated room. "Impossible," he muttered, but his eyes darted, betraying the lie. I watched from the shadows, resentment surging like a tide. This was it, the slow burn igniting. Guests clustered, phones out, whispers turning to gasps. "Embezzlement," one said, voice laced with scandal. Elena's composure cracked, her manicured nails digging into Dad's arm. "You said it was handled." Inner turmoil raged within me, obsession clashing with guilt. Had I gone too far? This wasn't just revenge. It was destruction. Doubt clawed. What if they recovered, turned it on me? But the heartbreak replayed. Years of forgotten cakes, overlooked achievements. No, this was poetic. I stepped forward, feigning concern. "What's happening?" My voice was steady, a mask over the storm inside. Dad turned, his face ashen, lines etched deeper in the chandelier's glow. "Alex, not now." Elena shot me a glare, venomous and knowing. "You," she spat, low enough for only us. "This reeks of your jealousy." Suppressed rage boiled over. I leaned in, whispering, "Jealousy? Or justice? You two have bled the business dry while I patched the holes. Happy birthday to me." The room hushed as more alerts chimed, the evidence spreading like wildfire. Screenshots of transfers, emails plotting to cut me out. Guests backed away, the air thick with awkward tension. Dad's eyes met mine, wide with shock, then dawning realization. "You did this." His voice cracked, raw with betrayal. For a moment, pity flickered. His motivations laid bare. Elena was his redemption, the child who succeeded where he'd failed in youth. I was the reminder of his flaws, the one he couldn't face. But cold resolve held. "Every year you forgot me. This time I made sure you'd remember." Elena lunged, grabbing my arm, nails biting skin. "You'll regret this," she snarled, but her eyes held fear, her perfection fracturing. The twist came swift, shattering like glass. A guest, an old family lawyer, stepped forward, phone in hand. "These docs. They're not just leaks. They show fraud, but also..." He paused, voice grave. "Your mother's will. Altered. By both of you." Gasps echoed. I reeled. I'd uncovered the accounts, but not this. Mom's inheritance, meant for me, diverted to Elena. Dad crumpled, confessing in a whisper. "I thought you'd understand." Eventually. Heartbreak twisted anew. Not just forgotten but robbed. Police sirens wailed in the distance, summoned by anonymous tips, mine, but amplified by the chaos. As cuffs clicked on Dad and Elena, their empires crumbling, I stood amid the ruins, guilt mingling with vindication. Revenge tasted bittersweet, a hollow victory. The party ended not in celebration, but in reckoning. And for the first time I wasn't forgotten. I was the storm.